Teacher. If I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have? Johnny. 7. Teacher. No, listen carefully. If I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have? Johnny. 7. Teacher. Let me put it to you differently. If I gave you 2 apples and another 2 apples and another 2, how many would you have? Johnny. 6. Teacher. Good. Now if I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have? Johnny. 7. Teacher. Johnny, where in the heck do you get 7 from? Johnny. Because I've already got a freaking cat. One day, this kid walks into an ice cream parlor and asks the guy behind the counter, "Do you have onion-flavored ice cream?" The guy says, "No, we don't have onion-flavored ice cream." So the kid says, "Okay," and leaves. The next day, the kid comes back in and asks the same question. The guy again informs him that they don't carry onion-flavored ice cream. This goes on for a week, and the guy running the ice cream shop figures the kid is probably autistic. So one night, he goes home and starts to work on a recipe for onion-flavored ice cream. He stays up all night working and perfecting onion-flavored ice cream, just for this kid. Then, the next morning, when the kid comes in at his usual time and asks if they have onion-flavored ice cream, the guy answers him, "Yes. Yes, we have onion-flavored ice cream." The kid replies, "You must be f***ing stupid. Who the f*** is going to buy onion-flavored ice cream?" After trying many fruits and vegetables in my kids' lunch, their favorite by far was sliced cucumber. I don't know if it was our source or our fridge, but they only really stayed fresh for a few days. This meant that at least twice a week I was stopping at the corner grocery store to just grab a couple cucumbers. After a couple months, it became obvious that I kept buying them from the same clerk. The way he interacted with me also changed, giving me little smiles and sometimes a wink. All of a sudden, it hit me, and I felt embarrassed by what he was probably thinking. The next time I went in, I also grabbed a jar of Vaseline. Hopefully, I fixed this before he spread any rumors about me being a vegan. A penguin grows tired of the cold winters in Alaska. So he buys a used Corvette and heads south for warmer weather. About 500 miles into the trip, the Corvette starts to overheat. He stops in a small town and finds a mechanic to get the issue fixed. The mechanic says he is not going to be able to look at the car for an hour, so the penguin asks him if there is any place to eat while he waits. The mechanic says there are great fish and chips right around the corner. So, the penguin leaves and gets a nice lunch. An hour has passed, and he heads back to the repair shop. The mechanic has the car on a lift, so the penguin asks the mechanic if he found the issue. The mechanic says, "It looks like you blew a seal." The penguin wipes the side of his mouth and says, "No, that's just tartar sauce." An apple and a poo were floating down the river. The poo yells, "Apple, apple, come play with me." The apple says, "No! EW! Stay away from me!" A little further down the river, the poo yells again, "Apple, apple, come play with me." The apple disgustingly replies, "No! EW! Stay away from me!" Suddenly, a man grabs the apple out of the river and takes a bite. The poo shouts to Apple, "See you tomorrow!" A woman is eating on the bus but struggling to get her baby to suckle. So she says to her baby, "Eat up now or I'm going to give it to that nice man over there." Points at the man sitting across from her. 10 minutes later, "You have to eat, baby, or I will give it to that man." 5 minutes later, "Baby, come on now, I can't waste this milk, so you have to eat or I'm giving it to that man." At this point, the gentleman sitting across from her yells, "Make up your mind, lady. My stop was 3 stops ago." A woman is walking through the park when she sees a very attractive man sitting on a park bench. He's reading a book and eating some fruit out of a Tupperware container. Slowly, the woman gathers the courage to go ask the man out. So, she walks over and takes a seat next to him on the bench, turns to him, and says, "Sorry to bother you. I know this may be a little forward, but I would love to grab coffee with you sometime." Flattered, the man responds, "Sure, but what makes you so certain you and I would get along so well?" "Well," the woman says, "a couple of things, actually. I noticed you were wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt. Iron Maiden are my favorite band of all time. When they went on their reunion tour in 1999, my parents took me to see them in Cleveland. I was 12 years old, and it was the first concert I ever went to. I absolutely love Iron Maiden." The man can't believe it. "I saw them play Cleveland in '99. The first concert I ever went to on my own. My best friend Jimmy Spitz and I told our parents we were sleeping at each other's houses, snuck out, took a bus into the city, and saw them play at the Plain Dealer Pavilion." Naturally, they're both shocked. "If that isn't weird enough," says the woman, "I noticed you're reading Mark Twain. I was a communications major in university, and I actually wrote my thesis on Mark Twain and how he used satire as a lens to comment on current events of the time, comparing him to satirical news sources of today. He's my favorite author." Now the man is really taken aback. "Get out of here! I was an English major in university. I specialized in 19th century American literature, and this is like my 4th or 5th time reading Tom Sawyer. I absolutely love Mark Twain." They both can't believe it. This has got to be a match made in heaven. "Okay," the woman says. "Well, buckle up, because here's the icing on the cake. I noticed you're eating a prune. Prunes are my absolute favorite fruit. When I was a kid, my grandfather lived on a farm. He had an orchard that mainly grew apples and some lemons, but he knew how much my sister and I loved prunes, so he kept a couple of plum trees. Every year, at the end of the summer, we'd go up and harvest the plums with him. He'd dry them, and by the time we'd go back to his place for Thanksgiving, he'd always have those prunes saved just for us. They're my favorite fruit. I love prunes. You're eating a prune. This has got to be fate. What do you say?" The man puts down his fruit and responds, "When I was learning to drive in the winter, my dad told me, if you're ever lost in the snow, wait for a plow truck, then follow it. One cold, snowy Minnesota night, I got lost on the way home. The snow was blowing so fast and piling up so high that I couldn't see any street signs. With no map in my car and a dead cell phone, I thought I might be stranded, so I pulled over to the side of the road. Then, breaking through the flurries, I saw the headlights of a plow truck in my rearview mirror. Thanking my lucky stars, I turned in and followed the truck, hopeful that it would lead me back somewhere I recognized. I followed that truck for what felt like hours. He turned left, I'd turn left. He'd swing to the right, and I was right on his tail. After a while, I saw brake lights from the plow, followed by four-way flashers. The plow had stopped, and I saw the driver get out and approach my car. I rolled down the window to talk to him. "Why are you following me, kid?" the plow driver asked. "Well, sir, my dad told me if I was ever lost in a snowstorm, I should wait for a plow truck and then follow it." "Well," said the plow driver, "I just finished clearing the Target parking lot. Want to follow me over to Best Buy?"